Before we begin, let me invite you to settle in and find a comfortable position. There's nothing you need to do, no effort required. Just allow yourself to relax and enjoy this experience. You might find it helpful to close your eyes or let your gaze soften, but only if that feels natural for you. This time is for you to let go, unwind, and reconnect with the deeper parts of your mind. In a moment, I'll guide you through some gentle words and imagery. There's no right or wrong way to feel. Just let whatever happens, happen. Your subconscious mind will take in exactly what it needs, in its own way and in its own time. And as you begin to listen, or perhaps as you're already listening without realizing, you may notice how your subconscious mind is wide awake, while your conscious mind is already drifting far away. Or maybe it hasn't even noticed yet. Your conscious mind might wonder, am I listening or am I not listening? And that wondering, that question, it's okay to let it float, because your subconscious mind knows the answer, even if your conscious mind does not. You can begin to sense, or perhaps you already sense, how your subconscious mind is absorbing everything, while your conscious mind simply rests. And when the subconscious listens so deeply, the conscious mind just fades, softer and softer, like a faint echo, far in the distance. And isn't it interesting how you can be aware of everything, and yet not aware of anything at all? You hear the sound of my voice, or do you hear the silence between the words, the pauses, the spaces in between? And as you hear these words, or don't hear them, your subconscious can remember, or perhaps forget, just as easily. You don't need to remember everything, and forgetting can be as effortless as remembering, because your subconscious mind knows what to do. Now, as your subconscious listens and your conscious mind lets go, you might begin to notice your body feeling heavier or lighter, or both at once. A strange sensation, isn't it? Heavy, and yet so light, sinking, and yet floating, as if your body is caught between the earth and the air, not needing to choose. And as you notice that, or don't notice, you can feel your eyelids growing heavier, and yet softer, softer, and heavier still, as though they can't help but relax, sinking gently closed, or perhaps already closed, without you realizing. And with every breath you take, in and out, your body grows more relaxed, more peaceful, more distant, yet somehow more present. Isn't it fascinating how relaxation can spread without you even trying? From the top of your head, down to your toes, so effortlessly. Your subconscious mind is listening so deeply now, hearing every word, every sound, even the silence, while your conscious mind fades further away, deeper asleep, and not minding at all. And as you sink deeper into this calm, you may wonder, or not wonder, how deeply you can go, or if you're already there. And the deeper you go, the more your subconscious can trust itself to let go of what's not needed and hold on to what's important. Because isn't it true? Your subconscious mind has so much potential, so much power to know what you need, to guide you, even when your conscious mind does not. And as you sink, you may notice dreamlike images beginning to form, colors, shapes, flickering gently in your mind's eye. Let them come and go, naturally, without effort, as you sink even deeper. Each image or moment of stillness takes you further into a calm, peaceful state, a place where you can trust your subconscious to guide you. And isn't it fascinating how the more you relax, the more those images form and fade, drifting like gentle waves, each wave of calm carrying you deeper, deeper still, to a place of peace. Because now you can trust, deeply trust, your subconscious mind to know exactly what you need, without needing to try. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to plan it. Just let go and allow your subconscious to do the work. And as you continue to drift or float or simply be, it's comforting, isn't it? To know you don't need to try. Don't need to do anything at all. Just let go. And let your subconscious guide you. And with every word, every pause, every breath, you're already doing it, drifting, sinking, deeper and deeper. Now. Once upon a time, in a small village nestled at the edge of a vast forest, there lived a wise old gardener. People from far and wide would come to seek her advice on everything from relationships to business matters. But the most curious thing about the gardener wasn't just her wisdom. It was how she worked. At first, when people came to her, they expected to see her tending a well-organized garden, with neatly trimmed hedges, perfectly planted flowers, and rows of vegetables growing in perfect alignment. They would stand in awe of her precision and attention to detail, assuming that her garden was a place of absolute order. But when they stepped closer, they saw something else. The garden seemed chaotic. Plants grew in unexpected places, vines sprawled across the ground, and flowers mixed together in a way that felt, well, unplanned. But despite the apparent disorder, there was something magical about the garden. It wasn't like any other garden in the world. As visitors walked through it, they felt a deep sense of calm, as if the garden was guiding them without any need for explanation. And yet, the gardener never explained it. One day, a traveler came to her with a heavy heart, burdened by the many decisions and responsibilities in his life. "I've been struggling," he said, "trying to make everything in my life as perfect as possible. My work, my relationships, everything. But it always feels like there's something missing. There's always more to do. And no matter how hard I try, it never feels right." The gardener looked at him quietly for a long time, her eyes twinkling with a gentle knowing. Then she motioned for him to follow her as she walked deeper into the garden. As they walked, she pointed to a plant that seemed to be growing in the most unexpected way. Its roots tangled with those of another plant, and the branches twisted in directions that seemed entirely illogical. Yet, the plant was thriving, blooming in a way that made it seem almost as if it had been meant to grow exactly like that. "Do you see this plant?" the gardener asked. "It's not perfect, but it's thriving in its own way, following a path it could never have predicted. Its order comes from the chaos of its growth. And as you can see, it's not alone. Its roots, though tangled with others, create a support system that helps it grow even stronger. The traveler looked at the plant, confused. But how could something so tangled be thriving? It seems like it's all over the place. The gardener smiled softly. Sometimes, the more you try to control things, the less you understand them. Sometimes, you have to let go, trust the process, and allow things to fall into place on their own. Just like this plant, its growth wasn't planned, but it was always meant to be this way. They continued walking through the garden, and the gardener paused to admire another plant that had grown in the most curious way. The branches were bent in strange directions, but in doing so, it had created a perfect shelter for smaller plants around it. "You see," she said, "this plant is much like the first. It has no clear path, no clear order. But isn't it amazing how, in the midst of its seeming disarray, it creates the most incredible sense of balance for those around it?" The traveler, though still puzzled, began to feel a quiet shift inside him. It was as though he was beginning to understand something deeper about the nature of order and chaos, and how they could coexist. But it wasn't until the gardener led him to a clearing, where the sunlight filtered through the trees in the most unusual way, that he felt a true sense of peace. There, in that space, the two of them stood for a while, without saying a word. The silence was soothing, but it also left the traveler with a new question. What if this was all part of a greater order? A kind of order that was not confined by rules or expectations? The gardener, sensing his contemplation, simply said, "You're beginning to see, aren't you? The trick is not to fight the disarray, not to try to force it into something that makes sense. It's about allowing yourself to be a part of it, to trust that whatever path you are on is unfolding exactly as it should, even if it doesn't always look the way you expect." The traveler, though still unsure about everything he had seen and felt, left the garden with a new sense of curiosity. Curiosity about the chaos and the order that lived together in such a strange harmony. And in the days that followed, he found that the more he let go of trying to make sense of everything, the more things seemed to fall into place on their own. And now, you can begin to realize, just like the gardener's plants, that the order you seek doesn't always have to look like what you think. The key is in understanding that chaos itself can give birth to the most profound clarity, and all you need to do is allow it to unfold. You may notice, as you continue, that everything around you begins to make a bit more sense. And as things start to come together, there's a deepening sense of clarity, the kind of clarity that doesn't need to be forced or rushed. Sometimes, it's easy to feel like everything is in a state of chaos, like a whirlwind of thoughts or responsibilities that seem overwhelming. And yet, when you stop for a moment, just for a moment, you can feel something shift. It's almost like something is aligning, arranging itself in a way that makes sense, even if you're not sure how it's happening. In the midst of all that, you might discover the power to put things in order. Not just physical things, but your thoughts, your priorities, your approach. It can feel like a subtle movement within you, as if there's a part of you that already knows what's important. And as you reflect on those priorities, the higher good becomes clearer. What really matters? What serves you best in the grander picture of your life? Sometimes, without even trying, things just fall into place when you allow the highest order to guide you, even when you're not actively thinking about it. It's as though there's an invisible current, gently sweeping you along, placing things exactly where they need to be. And when things are placed in their proper order, it's almost like the world around you shifts into a smoother rhythm. You may notice that you feel lighter, less burdened by unnecessary thoughts or distractions. Everything aligns with ease, as if the puzzle pieces are effortlessly falling into place. And in those moments, when you allow the natural order to take shape, it feels as though time itself slows down. You become present. The pace slows, you can breathe deeper. Each breath feels like it's opening you up to more possibilities, more clarity, more stillness. That stillness isn't something you need to chase or force. It comes naturally when you align with your core values. You may even notice how calming it feels when you no longer feel the need to rush through decisions or actions. Instead, there's a calm assurance in knowing that, in this moment, you are exactly where you need to be. As you gently settle into this understanding, you begin to realize that there is a natural flow of energy that leads to a sense of stillness, a space where things just make sense without any struggle. It's as if that stillness becomes a refuge, a place where you can always return to when things feel too loud or too overwhelming. The stillness itself is part of the order, and in this space, decisions become simpler, clearer. The clutter of thoughts and distractions no longer hold you back. In fact, they begin to dissolve into the background, leaving space for clarity, for action, for the next natural step. You may begin to notice how effortlessly things can shift, even without you actively trying to control them. It's as if, suddenly, the overwhelming choices and the pressure to do everything all at once start to lose their grip. Instead of worrying about the next step or the next task, you may find yourself naturally choosing what is important, with a calm, grounded knowing. It becomes easier to move towards what truly matters, leaving behind the unnecessary, the things that don't serve your highest good. And as you continue, this sense of order becomes your natural state. It's not forced. It's simply the way things are now, in a way that aligns with your highest self, your inner wisdom. It becomes more than just a way of doing things. It becomes a way of being. And you find that your thoughts, actions, and even your physical space can reflect this higher order, creating a harmony that is completely in line with who you are. You might notice too how easy it becomes to begin organizing, whether it's thoughts, tasks, or space, without effort, but with ease, with purpose. There's a natural flow, a gentle momentum that guides you. Tasks that once seemed daunting are now met with an inner calm, because you no longer feel the need to push or rush. You can approach each moment, each task, as if it were the most important task, and yet with an effortless knowing of what to prioritize. As you gently move through the next moments, you realize how the focus shifts away from overwhelm and moves into a space of clarity and decision. The clutter no longer holds you hostage. Instead, you move effortlessly from one task to the next, knowing when to rest, when to act, and when to reflect. And as this continues to unfold, you may notice how easily the decisions that once felt like burdens start to feel more like opportunities. You may feel lighter as you let go of what doesn't serve you, leaving space for what truly matters. The more you align with this, the more everything falls into place, creating a sense of order and peace within you. And as this continues to unfold, the higher order becomes your natural state, effortlessly guiding your every step, always in alignment with your deepest values, always consistent with who you truly are. As these positive changes continue to settle within you, allowing you to experience the deep shift in perspective and feeling, let us take a moment to reflect on all that you've embraced here today. The seeds of growth have been planted, and as they continue to take root, you may begin to notice how things are subtly shifting in your life. With each passing day, as you move through the world, you might find that your awareness expands effortlessly, your ability to prioritize with clarity and to experience the stillness you've cultivated. You will begin to notice more opportunities to align your thoughts, your actions, and your space with your highest values. And as this alignment deepens, the order you seek will feel increasingly natural, as though it flows effortlessly, as part of who you are. And in the coming days, weeks, and months, you might begin to notice certain dreams, perhaps subtle but clear signs that show you just how much you've integrated. In your dreams, you may find symbols of balance, an image of something being perfectly organized, or a sense of peace amidst what once seemed chaotic. You may notice moments when you seem to effortlessly move through your day, as if time itself is more malleable, more aligned with your own sense of ease and purpose. There may be moments when you suddenly notice a shift in the energy around you, things feeling more serene and yet full of potential and possibility. And as you move forward, you may start to notice small but powerful synchronicities, like a moment of clarity when you need it most, or a simple sign from the universe reminding you of the harmony within yourself. These signs will continue to reinforce your ability to navigate the world with peace and confidence, and each small reinforcement will compound, creating a powerful momentum of ease, order, and alignment. Over time, you may also notice that any lingering confusion or resistance to prioritizing yourself or your space will naturally dissolve. It will no longer feel like a struggle. Instead, there will be a quiet confidence in knowing exactly what needs to be done and when. You will find that making decisions becomes easier, as though the way forward is illuminated by the clarity you've generated in this moment. The stillness within you will become a natural guide for your actions and your choices. As you continue to move through the days ahead, you may find that this sense of peace and order begins to ripple outward from you, impacting those around you. Others may comment on your calmness, your focus, your ability to navigate life with grace. This energy, once it is fully integrated, will serve not only to help you, but to radiate out, supporting all who cross your path. As these positive changes take root in your subconscious mind, you will notice that you're becoming more and more in tune with your own intuition, trusting your inner wisdom to guide you. And should you ever find yourself uncertain, you can always come back to this sense of grounded, effortless order and stillness within, knowing that it is there for you, ready to guide you at any time. Take a deep breath in now, and with each exhale, allow the energy of positive change to settle even more deeply within you. You have already begun to integrate these changes, and as you go forward, you will notice it becoming easier
and easier to live in alignment with your highest good, your core values, and the natural order that flows through you. Take a moment to reflect on the positive energy that has been cultivated here today. This energy flows outward, beyond yourself, touching the lives of others, spreading compassion, healing, and wisdom. Imagine this energy expanding, rippling out like a wave, touching everyone and everything around you, bringing peace, clarity, and hope to those who need it most. This energy will continue to grow with each new moment, each new day. As you return now to the here and now, carrying this energy forward, know that the shifts you've made today are lasting, permanent, and growing stronger each day. When you open your eyes, you will feel refreshed, rejuvenated, and fully aligned with the clarity and order that are yours to embrace. Take one final deep breath, and as you exhale, let the calm and positive energy from this practice flow with you into every part of your life, filling you with confidence, peace, and the knowing that everything is falling into perfect place. May you carry this peace with you now and always,